Hello everyone and welcome back once again. This is your EVS teacher here, and this time I'm going to start a new chapter of NCERT grade 5, that is Walls Tell Stories. Students, first of all, can you tell me what do you mean by walls tell stories? Well students, when we look at the tall, thick, strong, beautiful, colorful design, shape and sizes of walls, then different questions arises. And students, by looking at them, we can say that these are the walls are not the ordinary walls like the walls of our houses. Moreover, the art, the textures, huge stone carvings, inscriptions and different designs enrich our knowledge and arises curiosity in our mind about the history. Students, in this chapter, we are going to discuss such type of structures that made the Indian history incredible. So, let's start. Students, here this chapter starts with a beautiful image of a fort that you see here, and that is Golconda. And students, Golconda is located in Hyderabad. So let's start. Reached Golconda. At last we reached Golconda. We were glad that Didi was with us. Didi studies history and we enjoy visiting different places with her. Students, here are some children who went Golconda with their Didi. And students, their Didi studies history. So all the children enjoy visiting different places with her. So first of all, Shailaja said, "My goodness, this fort is so huge." So students, as they reached in Golconda, suddenly Shailaja said that this fort is so huge. Then students, Sridhar said that the height of this fort is also so high, whereas Kalyani said that just look at towards the gate. This gate is so huge. I have never ever seen such a huge gate. Then students, Shailaja said it must be very heavy. I just wonder that how many people would be needed to open and close this huge gate. Then students, Kalyani said, "Hey, look at these sharp iron spokes on the forts. I wonder why they were made." Students, then lastly, Shailaja said, "Hey friends, look at these huge thick walls. I also wonder why they were made so huge thick walls." Then students, similarly like Shailaja, Sridhar also said that he also have never seen such thick huge walls. Then students, Kalyani said that at some places of the fort, a part of the wall comes out in a round shape, and I just wonder why it is so. Then students, after hearing all these conversations, finally Didi told to them that these are called the bastions, means to say Burj. And further Didi said that these bastions are even higher than the wall of the fort, and there are overall 87 bastions at the outer wall of this fort, means to say Golconda fort. And students, lastly Didi said that all these thick walls, huge gate and so many bastions are just for security purposes. Now students, here are some questions to discuss. The question number 1 is, why were bastions made in the fort wall? Students, as I said earlier, that bastions are the walls that are usually made for security purposes. So students, these bastions were made in the fort wall to ensure security of the fort. Now the question number 2 is, why were big holes made in them? Students, as you can see here in this image, there is a hole in the bastion. So you have to answer here that why these kind of big holes were made in the bastions. Students, these big holes made in the fort wall in order to increase the viewing area, and thus the soldiers could look through these holes and could keep a better vigilance in order to protect the fort. Now students, the next question is, what difference would be there if you were to look from a straight flat wall or a bastion at a height? How would the soldiers find peeping from the holes in the bastions useful while attacking? Now students, in this question you have to answer here that what would be the difference if you were to look from a straight flat wall or a bastion at a height. Students, these bastions were generally made in the fort in such a way that soldiers can easily peep out from these holes, and students, these holes thus provide better vantage pointing where a large area could be seen, and students, it wouldn't have been possible from a flat hole. That's why the bastions were made in a curved way with a hole in order to make a better vigilance. Now students, let's move on towards the chapter further. What did we find inside the fort? Now students, let's discuss that what these children found inside the fort. Shailaja: I wonder how old this fort would be. Do you think the king built the fort so that he could live here? Students, as soon as the children reached the fort, Shailaja asked them that she wondered how old this fort would be, and do they think that king built the fort so that he could live here? Then students, Kalyani said that it was written in the outside of the fort that Qutub Shahi Sultans ruled here one after another from 1518 to 1687. Then students, Didi told them that much before that, means to say from 1518 to 1687, means to say approximately around 1200. This fort, means Golconda Fort, was made of mud, and that time different rulers ruled here. Then students, while roaming from here and there, Shailaja formed a board that has a map of this Golconda Fort. Then student Sridhar said that this map of Golconda shows many gardens, fields and factories, and not only this, in fact there are many palaces also inside this Golconda Fort. Then students, finally, after seeing the map of Golconda Fort, Shailaja came to a conclusion that not only the Sultan, but in fact many other people like farmers and workers must also have been living here. Then students, Kalyani told them that time it must have been a complete town in itself. Then students, all these children along with their Didi moved towards the Sultan Palace, and when they reached there, then Sridhar said, look at towards these steps. These staircases seem to go on and on, means the staircase seems to be never ending. Now students, Shailaja asked to Didi that even in those days people used to have buildings with 2 floors. Then students, Kalyani said that now the building is in ruins, but she can only imagine that earlier there were many big halls and rooms here. Then students, Sridhar dragged their attention towards carving on the walls, and students, after seeing these carvings on the walls, they were just amazed because they were so fine. Then students, Kalyani said to Didi that they also saw something like a fountain on one of the roof of Sultan's palace. Then students, when Kalyani said this to Didi, then Didi said, yes, there were many big tanks and fountains here, and they were used to full of water. Now students, again here are some questions for discuss. The question number 1 is, how would the fountain have worked? Students, as we discussed earlier that Kalyani saw different kind of fountain-like structures on the roof of the Golconda Fort. So now you have to answer here that how would the fountains have worked? Students, the fountains that Kalyani saw would have got water supply from a large tanks, and that's how these fountains have worked. Now the next question is that what arrangements would have been made in the building for air and light? Students, as you all know that in our house there are many doors, windows for air and light. In the same way here you have to answer that what arrangements would have been made in the palace for air and light. Students, there in the Sultan's palace, large windows, doors and ventilators would have been made for air and light. Now students, the next question is, look carefully at the picture of the beautiful carving on the wall. What kind of tools would have been used for such fine carving? Students, as you can see here in this image, these are the carvings about which the question is asked. Now you have to answer here that what kind of tools would have been used that time for such fine carving. Students, these kind of such fine carvings would have been made using chisel and hammer, which were made up of iron. Now students, the next question is, we still don't have any electricity at many places in our country. Even at places which do have electricity, imagine what would happen if there was no electricity for 1 week. What are the things that would be difficult to manage without it? Students, in this question you have to imagine that what would happen if there was no electricity for 1 week, and what are the things that we would find difficult to manage. Students, as you all know that our maximum day-to-day activities are related to electricity directly or indirectly. So if there is no electricity in our place, we wouldn't be able to use electrical appliances such as computer, mixer, television, etc. Or we can say that our life will come to a standstill. Means we cannot imagine our life without electricity. Now friends, let's move on further toward the chapter. Why these attacks? Students, while the children roaming here and there, suddenly Sridhar dragged their attention towards a big gun, means to say cannon. Then students, after seeing the big gun, Shailaja said that this big gun must have been the Sultan's big gun. Then students, after hearing the conversation of Shailaja and Sridhar, Didi said that this was used by Aurangzeb, means to say the cannon that they saw was used by Aurangzeb. And further, Didi said that Aurangzeb's full army came with their guns and cannons to attack the Golconda Fort, but they couldn't even enter the fort. So for about 8 months, Aurangzeb and his army camped outside the fort. Then students, Shailaja questioned to Didi that why would Aurangzeb and his army come here all the way from Delhi? Then students, Didi told to Shailaja that in those days many emperors and kings played many different kind of tricks in order to make smaller kingdoms part of their own kingdom. And students, further she said that sometime these tricks was done by friendship, sometimes flattery, or even by marriage between different families. And that's how they make smaller kingdoms a part of their own kingdom. And students, finally, Didi told them that when no tricks worked, then these kings attack on one another. And that's why Aurangzeb and his army came there in order to attack on Golconda Fort. Then Kalyani asked Didi that why is it that Aurangzeb's army couldn't get into the fort in spite of so many soldiers and big guns? Then students, instantly Shailaja replied to Kalyani that didn't you see these thick strong walls, and couldn't you see in the map that there is a long deep ditch along the wall? So how could the army enter? Then Sridhar said, if the army tried to come from a different side, then the soldiers on the bastions would have seen them from a distance. That's why it was difficult for Aurangzeb's army to attack and enter the fort. Then Kalyani said that she can imagine the army is coming on horses and elephants with all their guns. And further, she said, I can imagine that this is the place right here from where the Sultan's army stand fully prepared. Then Shailaja expressed her grief. Oh no, I can only imagine that how many people and soldiers on both the sides must have been killed in all these kind of wars. Why do people attack and have wars? Then Sridhar said that these kind of guns and cannons are the things that the kings used in the past time. But nowadays, many countries have nuclear bombs, and a single bomb can cause so much destruction. Means a single bomb can only be sufficient to destroy a whole country. Now students, let's discuss about the big gun that Sridhar saw. Students, the big gun that Sridhar saw was made of bronze. Now here are some questions based on that. The question number 1 is, have you seen anything made of bronze? What? The students, well, in our everyday life, we come across many kind of articles that are made of bronze. So students, here you have to write that yes, I have seen statues, medals, utensils and lamps that are made up of bronze. Now students, the question number 2 is, find out from your elders about some of the things made from bronze that were or are still used in your house. From its color, try to identify which one of them is made from copper, which from brass and which from bronze. Now students, here in this question, you have to take help from your elders, and students, you have to ask them about some of the things that were made of bronze or are still used in your houses. Then students, from their color, you have to identify that which of the article is made from copper, which from brass and which from bronze. And then after discussing with your parents or from the elder family members, you have to write down here that with the help of my elders, I could find following things like copper or of reddish brown in color, and I found utensils and statues of God. Brass are of yellowish in color, and I found some utensils of brass. In the same way, you have to write that I could find bronze are in shiny grey in color, and I found medals and lamps. Students, here this answer is just for your convenience. You can change it completely according to your discussion with your family members. Now students, let's discuss about the arrangements of water that time. Students, picture that you see here is made after seeing a very old painting of that time. And now, can you answer here that why bullocks have been used here? And then students, with the help of your hand movement, you have to show that in which direction the drum attached to the rods that you see here, these are the drums. Drum attached to the rod moves when the blocks move. And in which direction would the tooth wheel move? Students, means that in your textbook you have to show the directions of the movement of tooth wheel. Now students, look, this pole shown under the ground joins with another wheel which has a number of parts on it. Students, this one is the pole, and now after seeing the pole and the arrangements of parts in it, you have to answer that how would this garland of parts lift water from the well? Students, as you can see here in this picture that these garland of parts connect with this tooth wheel, and thus the garland of parts move when the tooth wheel move. And students, once a pot is in water, as you can see here, then it gets filled with the water, and then students, the pots move upward carrying water along with it, and that's how the garland of pots lift water from the well. Now the next question is, do you now get some idea about how the tanks could have been filled by lifting water from the wells? Even today we can see clay pipes in the walls of the fort. These pipes would have been used to carry water to different places in the palace. Now students, here in this question you have to answer that how the tanks could have been filled by lifting water from the wells. Students, after seeing this picture, we can easily say that these blocks have been used to move the garland of pots to lift the water up to the tank. Now students, the next question is, where else have you seen such wheels attached to each other? For example, in the gear of a cycle or somewhere else. Now students, after seeing this tooth wheel, you have to answer here that where else have you seen such wheels? Students, besides cycles, these kind of wheels is generally used in pulley, toy cars, sewing machine, industrial machines, and in some mechanical watches also. Now students, the next question is, look around and find out how water is pumped up from the ground to the higher places. Students, as you all know that in our home we generally use electric water pumps, windmills and boring machines in order to lift up the water. But students, in the rural areas, means in villages, the bullocks are still used in order to lift up the water. Now students, the next question is, how is water pumped up using electricity? How is water lifted without electricity? Students, as I said that using electricity, the electric motor runs, and students, when the electric motor runs, then the water pump which suck water from the well or underground. Whereas in the absence of electricity, hand pumps and pulleys are used to lift up water, as you can see here in this image. This one is the pulley that is used to lift up water in absence of electricity. Now students, let's discuss the chapter further. What a sad sight. Now students, let's find out why it is written here, a sad sight. Talking, whistling and listening to our own echo, we were walking through this mihrab, means to say ark. Students, while these children walking through this mihrab, they listen echo of their talking, of their whistling. Shida said, "Oh, the breeze feels so cool in this tunnel." And students, can you answer me? Why the breeze feels so cool there? Because it is under the thick mountain, and that's why they feel the cool breeze there. Then Shailaja said that it was written there that soldier stayed here in these mihrabs. Student, this one is the mihrab that you see here in this image, where usually soldiers stayed that time. Now student, Sridhar saw a board and he find out that there is written on the board that writing on the wall is prohibited, but the situation is just opposite of that. Despite of this warning written on the board, many people written on the wall. Then students, Shailaja said, "Oh, it is very sad. These walls here are standing thousands of years, and these walls has seen kings and queens, horses and elephants, war and peace, but some people have spoilt it in just a few years." And then Kalyani said that she really don't understand that what kind of fun do people get in writing their names all over the place. Now students, the children moves towards the museum. Students, after seeing the Golconda Fort, the children also went to a museum in Hyderabad, where they see many old items. And students, they also came to know that many things that they saw in these museums were found when the place around the Golconda was dark, like pots, jewelry, swords, etc. Now students, after seeing the things on the museum, Shailaja asked to Didi, "Why are these broken pieces of pot kept in the almirah?" And she also dragged the attention of Didi towards the small plate made of bronze and towards a small blue piece made of ceramic, means to say clay. Then students, Didi replied to Shailaja that it is all through all these things we come to know that how the people of those times lived here in Golconda and what they used and what things they made. And lastly, Didi said, if all these things wouldn't have been kept here in this museum, then how would you all know so much about Golconda Fort? Now students, here are some questions to discuss. The question number 1 is, what kind of pots have you seen around you? Students, here in this question you have to answer that what kind of pots you generally used in your house. Students, for the answer of this question, you can take the help of your family members. Now question number 2 is, try to find out from your grandparents about the other kind of pots and pans they used in their time. Students, again, for the answer of this question, you have to take the help of your grandparents or other elder family members. And students, you have to ask them that what kind of pots or pans they used in their time. Well students, during our grandparents' time, they generally used vessels that are made up of brass and clay. And sometimes they also used the vessels that were made up of copper. Now students, the next question is, have you ever been to some museum or heard about it? What all things are there in a museum? Students, now here you have to answer that have you ever been to some museum or heard about it? If yes, then you have to write down here, yes, I have visited a museum. Then students, you have to answer here that what are the things that you saw there. Now students, you have to do a survey and then you have to write the answers of these questions here. As the first one is that, is there any building or monument near your house which people come to see? If yes, then you have to name it. Students, in this question, you have to answer that, is there any building or monument near your house? If yes, then you have to write down here yes, and you also have to write down the name of it. Secondly, have you ever gone to see an old monument? Which was that? Did you feel it told you a story? What could you know about those times from it? Now students, here you have to answer that, have you ever gone to see an old monument? If yes, then you have to write down that what was that old monument, and that old monument told you a story. If yes, then you have to write down here yes. And after seeing that old monument, what could you know about those times to which this monument belonged? Now students, the next question is, how old was it? How did you know? Means to say, after seeing the old monument, you have to answer here that how old was it and how you came to know the age of that monument. Then you have to answer here that what was it made of. Then you have to write down the color of the monument. Then you have to notice the special kind of design on the building. If yes, then you have to draw that design in your notebook. Then students, you have to find out that who used to live there in the olden days and what kind of activities took place there around that monument. And lastly, you have to find out that still some people live there or not. Then after finding out the answer of all these questions, you have to make a report of your survey in your notebook. Now students, let's move on further toward the chapter, make your own museum. Rajni teaches in a government school in Malappuram district in Kerala. Together with the children of her class, she has collected many old things from all the houses, like old walking sticks, locks, umbrellas, wooden sleepers, means khadao, pots, etc. They also saw that these things looked like today. Rajni and the children put up an exhibition which people from the neighborhood came to see. You could also do this. Now students, here you have to make your own museum. And how? Students, here is an example of Rajni. Rajni, who teaches in a government school in Malappuram district of Kerala. And Rajni, along with the children of her class, has collected many old things from all the houses of Malappuram district, like old walking sticks, locks, umbrellas, wooden sleepers that are also known as khadao, pots, etc. Students, in the same way, you also have to collect different old items from your neighborhood. But students, we will do this activity whenever your school will reopen. Now students, look at the painting and tell. Students, this painting that you see here is around 500 years old and it shows the Agra fort being constructed. Now you have to find out that what kind of works are people doing here in this painting, and how many men and women are working, and how they are taking the huge pillar up along the slope. Is it easier lift a heavy thing straight up or along a slope? Were you able to see the man carrying water in a mashak? Students, you have to answer all these questions after observing this picture. So observe this picture carefully and then answer the questions that are given here. Now students, that's all about your chapter number 10, and with this topic here, your chapter number 10 is completed. Now I will be come back soon with another chapter. Till then, stay home, stay safe and stay healthy.